Hey everybody, I'm still very sick, so I'm sorry if there's coughing or sniffling in this video or if my voice sounds funny. I wanted to take a second to talk about something that I care a lot about and I don't think has been discussed enough in this community. And that is the idea of customer service and taking care of customers, taking care of complaints, etc. So let's start by talking about why this is important. Customer service is important for one really big reason. You want people to spend money with your business. Whether you're offering a product or a service, your role as a business is to make sure that people spend more money with you. Finding a customer takes a certain amount of money. That is called the customer acquisition cost. For some businesses, that can be wildly expensive. For some businesses, it can be pretty cheap. It depends a lot on the product you're selling and who you're selling it to. If you're selling like a financial product to a Fortune 500 company, your customer acquisition cost may realistically be like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but because you have such a high value product, it'll pay you back over time. If you're selling hot dogs on the side of the road in New York, your customer acquisition cost is probably very low, but your average ticket price isn't going to be that high. There's another factor that comes into play that is called the lifetime value of a customer. So for example, if you are that hot dog stand and you have one tourist that walks by and buys one hot dog, you know that the value of that customer is, I don't know, whatever one hot dog is in New York. But if you find a regular who comes down to your hot dog stand every day, the lifetime value of that customer could be hundreds of hot dogs. Now there's a lot of things that determine the lifetime value of a customer. Now there's a lot of things that can change the lifetime value of your customer. The value of your product, if it's a subscription service or a one-time product, if it's the kind of thing that you're only going to need once. But at the end of the day, you make the most money by having a low customer acquisition cost and a high customer lifetime value. Both of those things are affected by customer service. So let's start with lifetime value of a customer. You want a customer to keep coming back and buying more and more from you. How do you encourage them to do that? Well, you treat them like a person. You make them feel valued. You make them feel like they are getting more value out of the experience than they are spending in terms of money. That means you need to have a good product. No, you need to have a great product. And you need to show them that as a company, you care about them as an individual. Customer service means higher lifetime value of a customer, means more profits for your company. Then alternatively, having good customer service can lower the customer acquisition cost for your business. If you treated one customer so well that they went and told 5 friends and one of those friends ended up becoming one of your customers, you basically just halved your customer acquisition cost because the cost that you spent on the first customer also just covered a second customer. You treat that customer well, they might tell someone else and someone else and someone else. And you get this network effect just via word of mouth that basically brings you free customers. And again, free customers means more profit for your business, especially if you can lengthen the lifetime value of the customer. So in order to maximize profits for your company, you need to have good customer service. There's basically just a few chances that you get to offer good customer service. So my definition of customer service is that it's any time that you interact with your customer that's outside of the normal sales channel. I suppose if you were a business that had a salesperson that actually went and talked to customers directly, that would also count as customer service, but I'm gonna separate that out into its own thing. We'll call that sales. But if a customer ever comes to you with a question or a comment, a complaint, or they post something on social media and then you interact with them, or if you choose not to, that is all customer service. And generally that looks like one of 3 things. It is either a positive comment, a negative comment, or a question. Positive comments are definitely the easiest and the most fun thing to handle, but a lot of the times they are handled wrong by businesses. If someone takes the time to take a picture or write a post about one of your products and share that on their social media, and they've given you a way to find them, like tagging you, you need to overwhelm them with praise. That is the behavior that you want to encourage. You need to make them feel seen. You need to share that on your page. You need to send them a message and be like, thank you so much. You want to train people to share more, and you want them to feel appreciated when they do share. Believe it or not, it can hurt your reputation. If someone shares your post and you just like it, it makes them feel snubbed. Like, I did this big thing for you, but all I get is a like. At very least, if someone shares a social media post of one of your products or service, comment something nice, and ideally comment and then send them a thank you message. That'll just make the experience even better for them, and it'll encourage them to share more in the future. And again, you get those word of mouth and network sales, lower customer acquisition costs, and that customer is more likely to come back and buy something from you in the future because it was such a positive experience for them. Then the next thing you're going to get a lot is questions. Questions or requests, I should say. Can you change my shipping address on this order? Does this thing work for this? Does it work for that? Can I do this with it? If someone just wants to know if this thing is 2 inches long or if it's 4 inches long, really the best way you can shine in that circumstance is by being polite and being very quick. If you're just selling something like a keychain and the person wants to know if their key will fit on it, if you don't answer in like 10 minutes, they're already looking at your competitors. So just quick answers is the best thing you can do for those kind of questions. And then sometimes people also have requests, and these can vary pretty wildly in how reasonable they are. My rule of thumb is if I can reasonably do it, I will do it. Most of the time it's just like changing someone's shipping address after they've already ordered, or occasionally it's a customization request. Personally, I don't take any customization or one-off work, but if someone just wants a different finish on something and I already do that finish over here on product A and they just want it on product B, sure, absolutely. I have no problem doing that for a customer. But when I can do something for a customer, I give it to them as long as it's within my ground rules. Then the third kind of interaction you have, and this is the hard one. This is where you can really make or break the perception of your company as having good customer service, and that is negative comments, either a direct email to you or on social media. Now, I have been dealing with some of these for really the first time ever in Design the Everything history. And I have to tell you, like, they hurt. Someone who is not a business owner, I don't think can really understand how much impact a negative comment can have on you. Like, I put so much time and care into my products, both in the design phase and in the production phase. And I've spent the last 6 months working on this Carabiner Kickstarter. I quit my job to do it. I don't really have any reliable income right now, just my Patreon and some Etsy sales. Like my future finances are all based on the success or failure of Design the Everything. And success is not guaranteed yet. My bank account is slowly running out of money. And right now, my sales at Design the Everything are not growing at the rate that I need to be able to cover that deficit. All that is to say, I take this stuff very seriously. It hits very close to home. So when someone leaves a negative comment, it hurts. And the natural reaction, the very easy thing to do is to assume your customer is dumb, to assume that they are being mean, to assume they are being unreasonable. And that is probably 1, wrong, and 2, unfair to the customer. And 3, it's not going to get you more sales in the future. It hurts, but you have to take a step back and approach it the right way. You need to separate yourself off from your emotions a little bit and do the right thing for your business. If you handle a negative comment poorly, first of all, you've already lost that customer for life. But if you handle it so poorly that they tell all their friends, just like the networking effect can work for you on positive comments, the networking effect can work against you on negative comments. And you can very quickly earn your business a bad reputation. And bad news spreads way faster and wider than good news. So you have to be very careful when you're handling negative comments. If you handle a negative customer very well, worst case scenario, you have still lost that customer for life. But best case scenario, you might earn that customer back, or other customers may be able to see how you handled that situation and trust you in the future. I honestly don't mind that there are negative comments on this Kickstarter. I mean, I do mind. It hurts. But future customers will see my responses to those comments and know that if nothing else, I handled the situation right, and they can take that risk to buy a product with me because I will take care of them no matter what. Plus, frankly, it's the right thing to do. If your customer isn't happy, make them happy. It doesn't matter if they're going to buy something from you in the future. They're still a person. So if someone posts a negative comment on your product or on social media, immediately respond to it. Immediately. Tell them that you're sorry that they're unhappy And from there, if it is a defect in the product, you shipped them a bad part, these things happen, you can offer them an immediate replacement or a refund or whatever is the right thing in that situation. If they received the product and everything was as it should be and they just didn't like it, if it makes sense, offer them the ability to return it or just offer them a refund right away. If there's a way that you can make the situation right in some other way, do that. Just do whatever you can as quickly as possible to make that person happy. And honestly, I would do it fairly publicly. I wouldn't post it in my stories like, hey, I'm giving this person a refund. But don't just put a comment under their post and being like, we're sending you a message. No, that looks so corporate and scummy. Send them post a comment, say that you're sorry that they're unhappy. You don't have to claim responsibility for whatever is wrong. Just say you're sorry that they're unhappy. And tell them what you're going to do in the comments, and then also tell them you're going to send them a message to work out the details. Honestly, half the time after you do this, you send them the message and they don't respond to you because they didn't realize that you were a real person. They just thought you were some faceless company and they feel bad. The more genuine and the more human sounding your comment is and the way that you talk to them, the less likely they are to actually want the refund or the return. And when you send that message, ask them for some more details about why they are unhappy. Sometimes people just don't understand your product. They're using it wrong. They had the wrong impression when they bought it. And one, you need the feedback to how to fix that on future sales. But also, you might just need to explain the product a little bit better to them. And once they understand it, they may actually like your product. Now, sometimes you'll get customers that just want to be unreasonable, and that's fine. I don't know what motivates people to be like that, but there will always be people like that. The only thing you can do is separate yourself from them as quickly as possible. You can leave your very polite and nice comment. You can send them a message, you give them their refund, and you part ways with them. You never sell something to them again. You don't want to interact with those people. Some negative people just like to take everybody down with them. Don't take it personally. I think if you really want your company to have good customer service, especially if you are a multiple person company and not just a one-man show, but even if you're a one-man show, one of the things you need to do to have good customer service is need to have written down values. And some of those values need to be focused on how you treat people, not just customers, but all people. Design the Everything has 3 values that are relevant here. We accept that we are imperfect and will fail, but we will fix our mistakes and always work hard to keep improving. Now, to me, that value is important because it is very easy to assume that everything you have done is right and that these customers are wrong. But if you listen to them, a lot of the times there's actually some grains of truth embedded in those hurtful comments. Sure, if one person says one thing one time and you never hear it again, okay, maybe you can ignore that comment. But if you have 2 or 3 people saying the same thing, there's probably 20 or 30 people who are also thinking it. So maybe you should go back and look at your product and see if that's actually a problem. Try to take an outside look at whatever they're saying and seeing if there's a grain of truth behind it or some way that you can fix it in the future. It's not my first instinct to think that I'm wrong, but it is something that I force myself to intentionally do because I'm not perfect. I am just one man. I am one person. I can't catch all mistakes. I can't look at every problem from every angle. I know that. So I try to look at it from other angles, especially when there's people telling me there's something wrong with my product. The last 2 relevant Design the Everything values basically say the same thing in this context here. They are, we will do the morally right thing even if it is fiscally wrong, and we will assume the best of others even at our own cost. So yes, there are people who will leave negative comments and try to get refunds from you and keep the product just because they want the product for free. Fine. Those people exist, I accept it, but I'm not going to assume my unhappy customers are those people. It doesn't mean I'm going to be dumb. I'm not going to intentionally fall for scams or do things to make it easier on those people. But I'm not going to assume that every person is one of those people just trying to take advantage of me. And yeah, I'm going to lose money that way, but I'm okay with that because it's the right thing to do. And I believe that doing the right thing in your business will eventually make you more money than doing the quick, easy, wrong thing. I would honestly rather fail as a business than be a business that fails to take care of its customers. because that business would just be miserable and would only last for a couple more years anyway. Do the right thing, take care of your customers. If you want to buy something we make, the link to our store is down in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.